afternoon. My name is Tricia Endicott. My dad is addicted to gambling. He gambled by playing in pool halls, cards, Keno, Megabucks, Mass Millions, poker rooms, scratch tickets, whatever he could do in the state of Massachusetts. He is 70 years old now, and he started gambling when he was 18. So he's been gambling for over 50 years. My dad is a very bright man with his own business, and he had great interpersonal skills and had a lot going for him. He was able to make his addiction to, he was able to mask his addiction to gambling because he owned his own company, and he had to be available to his customers 24/7, which meant he could be called away at any point to help them. And what he was really doing during that time was sitting, having a Jack Daniels and Coke, and playing Keno for hours and hours and hours. He could also borrow against the company to be able to support his gambling. He basically couldn't control it, and consequences didn't matter to him. The impulse to gamble took priority over everything else. And as my dad says, when I spoke to him about it this week, he said he paid for space. It was for him a way to escape. It was not about the money. It was not about winning. He just couldn't control the strong impulse to gamble despite all of those consequences. And eventually, he lost the business. And we lost our cars first, and then our home. And everything that we had as a family was taken away. He left our family in 1986, and he drove cross country to live in Las Vegas, where he could gamble 24/7. And we all ended up having to scramble to just find a place to live. My father has a wife and 6 children. He did come back from Vegas after a few years, and he would call his adult children at work and in an emergency need to borrow money to pay people back that he borrowed money from to support his gambling. He was not getting help through any gambler support or therapy, mainly because he was hiding his addiction to gambling, and still to this day does not fully admit to his gambling addiction. None of us were aware that Dad had this problem, his wife or any of his children. We did not see the signs, we were not educated, and we did not know. He did leave eventually again in 1998 for the final time. And I remember him telling us that he was playing too much Keno and he needed to go get away and live in the wilderness to be able to stay away from gambling. And he also was concerned for us because people were calling us that he owed money to, and people were coming to our door. And it was his way to protect us. But that's what he did do. He moved away to the wilderness, and where he still remains to this day, to be able to stay away from gambling. But gambling's interfered in his whole life. And I've lost out on having a dad, and he's lost out on so much. So I'm asking today for you not to legalize gambling in this way. You present an easy access to the addictions that are so prevalent. Talk about college. He probably could have put all 6 of his children through college for the rest of our lives with how much he spent on gambling and how much he lost. And as I was telling my dad about what I was doing here today, and I asked him what he thought, he said, it's a no-brainer. Don't do it.
Thank you.